The Houston Rockets are facing a much larger disaster than just losing in the first round of the playoffs. With Kevin Durant as their leader, the team's body language was awful for months. We saw Sengun make a game-saving block in the regular season, get up, and none of his teammates reacted. This came after Kevin Durant's burner account allegations, which have now been all but confirmed, as an inside source said they were a significant distraction to the team. But somehow, worse than all of this is that the Rockets are following the same exact pattern that destroyed the Nets and Suns. All three teams were at one point hyped as real championship contenders with Kevin Durant on their roster. Brooklyn is now one of the worst teams in basketball. Phoenix doesn't own their own first-round pick until 2032. Houston is on a very dangerous path, and if they want to survive it, they need to learn from Kevin Durant's past. Because here is a very tough question. Where would we rank Kevin Durant all time if we took away his championships on the Golden State Warriors? Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Joel Embiid, all three of those players have taken serious hits to their legacy right in front of our eyes because they haven't won a title. If KD never betrays the Thunder and joins a 73-win Warriors team, he could easily be another name on that list. Because the price of excellence in the NBA is the expectation that you are going to win. Without a ring, right now, we may have seen KD as a more talented version of Carmelo Anthony. KD knew this, he saw it coming, so he took the easiest road to get to that ring, leaving the team that drafted him for a team that just beat him in the Western Conference Finals, a team that was led by back-to-back MVP Steph Curry. But the thing is, Kevin Durant's decision worked. He not only won 2 rings, he was also Finals MVP in both championships the Warriors won with him, as Kevin Durant averaged over 35 points per game against the 2017 Cavs, one of the best scoring stretches we've ever seen on the game's biggest stage. The problem was that even after getting exactly what he wanted, Kevin Durant was still not satisfied, which should worry the Rockets because let me introduce you to the Kevin Durant dilemma. KD both does not want to lead a team, but he also doesn't want to follow anyone. Durant left the Warriors due to the fact that he didn't feel appreciated. As it was reported, he was occasionally irked that Steph Curry got so much attention, and the arguments with Draymond Green were piling up as time went on. But when KD joined Golden State,
And then I heard you tell Kevin Durant he can have whatever contract he wants next year.
Yeah, that was just for the media. He can't have anything like that at all.
Because I think last year you told Steph he could have any contract he wants too,
Yeah,
so.
well, yeah, that was different. He's earned it.
And there ended the Warriors' cohesion.
you can see Durant's reaction in real time in that clip. He's like, oh, it's like that? Kevin Durant did not want to fit into the Golden State Warriors. He still wanted to be the face of the franchise. And while Draymond yelling at KD might be looked at as extreme, we also have to consider that Draymond was trying to tell KD that Dre, at times, knew the best way to win basketball games for Golden State. KD never wanted to hear it, and we know why. Because after he left the Warriors, Kevin Durant looked back and said the following: "I'll never be one of those guys. What are you going to teach me? How can you alter anything in my basketball life? I got an MVP already. I got scoring titles." The day no one can teach you anything is the day that you stop learning. This season on the Rockets, Sengun tried to tell KD he had figured out a way for Durant to score easier in a specific situation. Whether KD agreed with this or not, it doesn't really matter. His response does. He turned to the crowd and said that Sengun was not right in the head. That is his teammate who's just trying to win. KD doesn't want to lead the Rockets. As a grown man, he criticizes his own teammates on burner accounts instead of just talking to them. He makes faces at them and just has terrible body language on the court when they don't do what he wants them to. And not sitting on the bench during Game 3 against the Lakers was a terrible look. Yes, it was reported he was getting work done, but it would have been a huge showing of support to at least be out there for your team. Being a leader, though, is something that Kevin Durant refuses to do, which would be fine if he also did not refuse to follow anyone. He has decided he knows the best way to win, and if you try to tell him any differently, you're going to get mocked. There is no doubt that Kevin Durant is a generational scorer, one of the best that we've ever seen. But basketball is a team sport. You need to work with your teammates, and if you don't want to lead, that means that sometimes you are going to need to follow. But KD doesn't want to do either. In Brooklyn, Brooklyn, we may have seen the answer to that question, except it's also been reported that before the 2019 season even began, KD and Kyrie Irving were plotting to join up with each other. That means Durant spent an entire season on Golden State, planning to leave the team and join up with Kyrie in the back of his head. Not the best look, but if we are looking for a situation where Kevin Durant can win a championship, we would look at year one in Brooklyn, where KD has said, that first year, man, most fun ball I had. Some of the most fun ball I had playing in my life. He also, of course, went on to blame everyone else for the fallout, saying, but it's just so much around the guys who were committed to this situation. I felt like we were committed, but everybody else wasn't. It just was weird. Now, Kevin Durant said this to Steve Nash and LeBron James on their podcast, and Kyrie Irving has said that KD was the one who chose Steve Nash as the Nets head coach. Let's keep that in the back of our minds and remember it, but let's also consider the 2021 Nets may be the blueprint we need to look at for how a Kevin Durant situation can go right. That season, James Harden was traded to the team and Brooklyn went all in on a title. And even with Harden and Kyrie injured for the playoffs, they almost made it happen in what was considered a very controversial play. In Game 4, Kyrie went down with a season-ending injury, and while James Harden played Games 5 through 7, he was hobbling around with an injury. Even so, Kevin Durant put the team on his back, won Game 5, had 32 points and 11 rebounds in a Game 6 loss, but then in Game 7 did the following.
Gets it into Durant. Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining. 1 second left.
With the game on the line, Kevin Durant came through and almost won the series. However, his toe was on the line. Now, just to be historically accurate, KD also airballed the game winner in overtime. Actually, the game tying shot, as again, his toe was on the line. But without Kyrie and Harden again playing injured, Kevin Durant ended Game 7 with 48 points. It's really hard to blame him for this loss. And Kyrie would later say this series was so disappointing because the Nets would have won the championship if he didn't get injured. And I'm buying it. The Bucks ended up beating the Hawks and the Suns after taking down Brooklyn. I think the Nets win both of those series with Kyrie Irving healthy as well, which means Durant was that close to winning a championship as the guy on the team. But in basketball, sometimes bad luck does come into play. Here's the thing though about bad luck. Good leaders can get their teams through that storm. Bad leaders let that bad luck consume them. 2021 was definitely unfortunate, but to start the 2022 season, the Nets were preseason title favorites. Soon though, the team was just lost. We had nothing but drama. Harden demanded a trade. Brooklyn got back Ben Simmons. Then after the Nets were swept by Boston in the first round of the playoffs, in a series where Jason Tatum averaged 29.5 points and 7.3 assists, while KD averaged around 26 points on 38.6% shooting, aka a young Tatum took it to him. KD didn't shoulder the responsibility for anything here. In fact, that summer, he told Nets owner Joe Tsai that he either needed to fire the GM and Steve Nash, the coach Kevin Durant himself had chosen, or KD would demand a trade. This is yet another pattern we've watched. Things do not go the way Kevin Durant wants them to, and he doesn't work on anything with the team. He just demands out. Did Kyrie Irving have a lot of off-court drama going on? Yes. Did KD choose to play with Kyrie, and did Kyrie also establish himself as the second best player next to Luka in the Mavs 2024 run to the finals? Yes. KD could have tried to make this work. Instead, he did end up demanding a trade, and after betting on him, the Nets are now one of the worst teams in basketball. Well, fortunately, they didn't sell their entire future to get KD like the Suns did. As we said before, the Suns don't own their own first-round pick until 2032 because of the Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal trades. When KD joined Phoenix, he was joining a team that made the NBA Finals 2 seasons before and were fresh off a 64-win second-round disappointment. He was supposed to be the final piece that got the Suns over the top. Sound familiar? With KD, Phoenix lost lost in the second round of the playoffs again. Then they lost in the first. Then they didn't even make the playoffs last year. And what makes that even worse is that without KD and with Dylan Brooks, the Suns were the 7th seed this season. And in his time in Phoenix, it was reported that KD went a month without talking to head coach Frank Vogel. In his burner scandal, Durant said Vogel and Devin Booker were like two dictators. He also claimed that the Suns were his team when they lost and Book's team when they won. Continuing on with the pattern we know far too well. KD has told us that he doesn't care what the media says, but then his dilemma pops up again. He didn't want to lead in Phoenix, but he resented that Devin Booker was already an established star on that team. So, what does Kevin Durant actually want? Let's remember that in Phoenix last season, with the team imploding around him, KD had a chance to return back to Golden State. He blocked that trade. He waited until the offseason for a move to be made, and he wanted to be in Houston. He could have gone to a Golden State team that was already loaded with veterans. Instead, he went to one of the youngest rosters in the league where he was expected to be a leader. And KD embraced this. After getting traded to the Rockets, he was seen noticeably celebrating with his agent. He had played against this team several times. He knew who the core pieces were. And from everyone's perspective, it felt like this trade just made sense. Which brings us to the present day Rockets, where in those same burner leaks, KD directly attacked Sengun as the franchise star, saying Sengun can't shoot or play defense. The Rockets began this season as a team that was really in the championship hunt, but the longer the year went on, the worse the body language got, the worse the chemistry got, and now they were bounced in the first round of the playoffs. But this is what Houston traded for. They traded for a superstar talent who's told us all he doesn't want to be a leader. Only he also doesn't want to be a follower. He thinks he's above being told anything on a basketball court. He's had problems with star teammates. He's had problems with basically every coach. So if the Rockets want to survive this Kevin Durant era, they actually want to compete for a title with their star young core, they are left with two options. One, they can wait and see.